Hello everyone, this calculator is for everyone who is wondering if he should use detonated volatile dead or spell cascade in the corpse detonation setup. This exact spreadsheet has been made in mind that you will be using cast on crate, and you will be creating corpses by Asenat Chang. But you can also change these values to mirror your own build and playstyle. Some of those changes are quite obvious, some of those are a little bit harder to do, but if you think about it a little bit, you might find the conclusion. So the orange values are the ones that you could change. You don't have to if you just want to look at the actual numbers, but you should check them if your exact setup isn't different. So for example, this is the power of level 21 gem. And if you are using only level 20, it will be a little bit lower. This is the corpse life, which I'm still not sure about. There might be corpses that are more powerful, or I mean, have more life, but GGG has been trying to nerf all of those to power of Kitava's Herald. So just to make it easier for me and make it foolproof for future updates, I have stated the corpse life to be 54,000, which is the life of corpse of Kitava's Herald on the 16 map. and it's actually not true that every corpse that you create is Kitava's Herald, but some of them are. I would say like 50% of them are your corpses, so maybe the true corpse life would be different, and that is the reason why I have keep it orange, because I'm not exactly sure. I haven't tested everything, so maybe the corpse life is a little bit lower just because of that you don't get always the Kitava's Herald, but you can get them quite a lot of the time. So just to make it more realistic, you might change it to 2, for example, and you might get more realistic values, but I'm not sure on that. I will just keep it like this for now. When it comes to corpse created per cast, the secret can create up to 10 corpses, but in a passive skill tree you can create up to 2 more corpses if you take it. So the numbers might change there too. Here, this is just corpse creation. It doesn't change anything. This is just to let you know that this is Asenat chunk, and if you are not using it, your corpse creation speed might change. So Asenat chunk has cooldown of 0.3 seconds. So if you divide 1 by 0.3, I see that I'm able to cast the spell inside 3.33 times per second. And because I create corpses each time, I create 33 corpses in 1 second. Corpse detonation speed is dependent on your setup. If you're spellcasting, it might be different, but in casting rate, it can be up to 6.06 periodically. Here are some information that you should read if you want to change those values and you want to read more about it. This is pretty much the base thing. So I have here multiple setups just for comparison. Here is detonated and volatile dead. Here is spell cascade, detonated and volatile dead. Here is spell cascade and detonated. Here is spell cascade and volatile dead. When it comes to clearing, each of them feels a little bit different. For example, detonated doesn't feel that great for clearing, but it feels decent because the detonator has huge AoE. When it comes to spell cascade volatile dead, you create a lot of balls, which feel great for clearing. However, we will see if the DPS is there. Now, when it comes to problem with calculating DPS, we don't actually know exactly how many corpse explosions will hit the boss. When it comes to detonated, you need to hit the boss with the corpse, and there is no way around it. So if you create 10 corpses and you are able to consume all of those, some of them might not hit the boss, but if you are not consuming them as fast, you will hit the boss with most of them. So I have here like 95% chance to hit the boss with detonated. It might be lower, it might be pretty much 100%. I'm not sure, it also depends on your AoE. When it comes to volatile dead, the explosions are way lower, I mean smaller, so it's harder to hit the boss. So I have here 50%. We are not consuming that many corpses, so I'm firstly consuming the corpses around the boss, and then I'm consuming the corpses that are further away. So I think that 50% might be decent, but I haven't tested it exactly. I've just played it, and this is just my feeling. This is the damage. This is the area damage per cast. If like everything hit the one enemy, this is the single target damage per cast, meaning that I trade with detonated and both volatile dead, and this is the damage I get from each of those. This is the damage per corpse, which means corpse efficiency. Uh, this is just to show you how efficient these spells are. Detonated is about twice, even a little bit more efficient than volatile dead. However, damage per cast comes to volatile dead. I mean, even area damage per cast goes to volatile dead. The single target damage per cast also goes to volatile dead. So it's kind of hard to choose which one is better. Each of them is a little bit different. Volatile dead is just more powerful, but detonated is more corpse efficient for its power. Here is the corpse detonation speed. I should probably link it to this one. I probably will after this video. And here is the corpse consumption speed per second. So detonated consumes only one corpse, volatile that consumes three corpses. If you are using spell cascade, the numbers are 3 times higher, so 3, 9. In this case, it's only 1, 3. So in total, I'm consuming 24 corpses per second. And because I'm able to create 33 corpses per second, I'm not even consuming all corpses that I create. And here is the corpse usage. I'm consuming 72% of corpses that I'm able to create. And this is the maximum because on custom create, you are not exactly able to cast the detonated cast all the things on cooldown. So I would say that 72% is pretty good, and it might be closer to like 65% or something like that. So the corpse usage is good. You are still leaving some corpses there, but you are consuming most of the corpses that you create. This is the maximum single target DPS if you have enough corpses. Because we are not consuming all of them, your real single target is equal to your single target with enough corpses. If you would be able to utilize all the corpses with the same damage per corpse, you would get a little bit higher damage, meaning that we are not exactly 100% efficient, but we are pretty close to that. And this is the support gem balance DPS. And the reason why I have it here is because some setups are using more support gems. For example, like this one uses Cascade, Detonate, and Volatile Dead, and all of those use at least 2 gems. So I have made the baseline that 2 gems is like 0% more damage, so no power multiplier here. But I'm using on the second setup Spell Cascade, which is another link, which is the link that I could be using for like fire penetration or stuff like that. So in total, I'm losing some damage because of that. And also Spell Cascade has less damage multiplier. So in total, I'm losing like 39% damage, and this is like my estimate, about 30% more damage for another support gem that I could use. So in total, I multiplied with the real single target DPS, and I get the balanced DPS, which is the best thing how to compare these setups. So if you just look at it at first glance, it seems that the best DPS you can get is with detonated volatile dead, because spell cascade, even though that it allows you to consume a lot of corpses, it is inefficient. You usually try to consume way more corpses that you are able to, and it's just not efficient because it's one support gem, which also gives you less damage multiplier. If you go for something that is more efficient, like Spell Cascade Detonated, then you are not using enough corpses, and you don't even have that great clear. Your corpse usage is even worse than in the first case, and the DPS total is still not that high because Spell Cascade gives you less damage multiplier. So your total damage is still lower than in the first case, And the last case is even lower than the detonated, but not that much. It uses 50% more corpses, but 60% of the corpses that I would try to get, or like there is much higher corpse usage that I'm able to use. So even though it has higher corpse usage than this one, the corpse usage is very inefficient because volatile that doesn't have much damage per corpse, and in total I do a little bit less damage than detonated, but at least I have higher clear. So I would say that worst setup is the spell cascade detonated and volatile dead. If you are able to have your uh, maximum cast on crit kind of uh, detonation time. Let's change something. For example, you can take in a skill tree that you are able to create 12 corpses, and therefore we are able to create more corpses and consume them. So that means that our corpse usage will go down, and some setups might be a little bit more attractive. For example, volatile death becomes stronger than detonated. Um, and our spell cascade detonated volatile death, oh, it's still not good actually. It's still probably the worst setup. And this thing didn't change at all, so it doesn't really change too much in these builds. We could also try to change some other things. I will just change this thing. So, for example, we are not casting at the perfect moment. We are casting much slower. We are maybe casting in sync with a Senate's mark, meaning that our crit chance maybe isn't that high, or we are just not casting that fast. So, in that case, we have slower corpse detonation speed, and because of that, we want to consume more corpses per fast. So, if we are using detonated volatile death, we see that our corpse usage is even lower. We are not using the corpses efficiently, and our total DPS is 38,000. But our DPS with spell cascade detonated is well, it's still lower, but it's now much closer. So it seems that in most cases, I will actually go even to 12 corpses. So slow cast on crit and a lot of corpses created. Yeah, this is the only case when spell cascade detonated volatile is actually good. But in most cases, it seems that the highest damage that you can get is by just using detonated volatile dead without spell cascade. Because it is very clear efficient because of the volatile dead. It is decently enough clear efficient because you have like 70% corpse usage, uh, maybe like 50 to 70%. But in all of those cases, it is well worth it. Even if you are not casting or not consuming the corpses fast enough, it is pretty much the best corpse usage gem in the setup, at least for a single target. So you can play with this as you want. I will leave the link in video description. I'll just change everything back to the base values. So you can change those values, the orange values, and the total thing that you are interested in is this thing. Support gem balance DPS. It is in the box here. And yeah, have fun with this. I just wanted to know this because I have myself custom crit character, and I wasn't sure if I'm using the best setup, but it seems that in most cases, detonated volatile dead has like 50% more damage than most setups. And even in the case that your critical strike chance and your corpse detonation speed isn't that high, this thing usually wins even through that. So Not that much, but it still ends. So thanks for watching and see you next time.